Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am the Executive Director for New Shelves Books, and we are here for Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. When we get together, we talk about book marketing, publishing, writing, kind of just as a way to learn from each other, to answer your questions, and also to get new ideas, to get inspiration, and to start our weekend off right. So we are taking questions live. We also have some questions that were sent in via email, which you can always do ahead of time at questions with an S at freeadvicefridays.com. We take those during the week and then we try to answer them on Fridays if possible. So let's just jump right in. Already pulling in that inspiration. We do try. All right. The first question that we got in was, should we get insurance as self-publishers and authors? If so, any ideas of what kind of insurance? So as far as insurance goes, most self-publishing authors and authors in general, I know, end up with an umbrella policy. Let's keep in mind, I'm not an insurance agent. I am not an authority on this. So if you go to your insurance agent and they tell you differently, please go with their advice, not mine. I'm no one. I don't know anything. But from experience, most authors and self-publishers I know have an umbrella policy. And the reason why is just to cover them if anything happens. If someone in a story says, hey, you took that from me personally. If you are a doctor and you are writing medical scenes and someone takes your life-saving medical scene about, cutting into someone's throat and shoving a straw in there to help them breathe. Sorry, that was really graphic. That's the first thing that came to mind. If you write in a scene like that in your book and someone tries it in real life and it doesn't go quite as it did in your novel, they could, crazy, but they could try to sue you. And so it's kind of that. And that's really what insurance is. You never want to use it. You don't expect to use it, but you have it there just in case. And so that's kind of the reason why you would have it. Umbrella policies don't tend to be too expensive unless you are, let's say, a doctor. They can be more expensive. And it depends on what you're writing as well. Most authors I know that are writing, rom-coms and things like that don't usually have it, but it just depends. Ask your insurance agent what it would cost, price it out. If you are writing general fiction, it may be super cheap and affordable. And then again, it's just an insurance to make sure that you're covered should anyone come after you, should you ever have any issues. Right. Do I need a Facebook business page to schedule posts for my upcoming children's picture book or just post on my personal page? Yep, let's cover that. Let's cover the difference between a personal page and a business page. On Facebook, if you are posting to a personal page, it is personal. Most of the time when I post to friends only, so the public can't see it, which means my circle of influence on Facebook under my own profile is fairly small. So that's one reason to go with the business page. When you go with a business page, it's like a website landing page. And so it's public. Anyone can search it, anyone can find it, and anyone can read the content. There's a couple other reasons to go with a business page. You can only advertise on a business page. You cannot boost or advertise a post from your personal page. You can from a business page. So that's another reason to go get your business page. And Pat, absolutely, the business page allows you scheduling features, which is hugely helpful. If you have 2 hours to sit down and do your social media on the weekend or whatever it may be, you can schedule out posts with the scheduler to a page or to a group. You cannot do that to your personal page. So resounding yes on that one, absolutely. So I think that is the way to go. Obviously, some other perks of having a business page is not only reach and accessibility to ads, but also there's no limit on how many people can follow you on a business page. When you are on Facebook and people are having to friend you, you can only have 5,000 friends. And I know that sounds like, wow, only, well, I've got a whole 200 and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm never going to get to 5,000. But I have seen it where authors suddenly become very popular, their platforms explode, and then they hit the 5,000 mark. What happens? They then decide, oh, I need to go get a business page now. The problem with that is trying to get people to convert from your personal page to your business page. You essentially have to start rebuilding all over again. Don't do that to yourself. Start with a business page, build that business page. Does that mean that you can never post to your personal profile about your book or your business? Absolutely not. You can always post to your personal contacts and ask them for help or tell them about a book launch. But that should not be where your business goes. And also it's nice to have the separation because your friends want to know about you personally. They want to know about your grandkids. They want to know what you're doing on the weekend. They want to see pictures of your house projects. That's not necessarily all stuff that you would share with your professional business page for your book. And also, even if it is, guess what your friends probably do not want to see all the time? Your book information. They love you. They don't necessarily love your topic or your book. So give them the option to separate and invite them over. Hey, I've got this book page. It's where I talk about my book. So if you're interested, if you want to follow it, come follow me here. If not, totally cool. We'll stay friends in the personal sphere, and that's fine. So it gives them the option so you don't alienate some friends because you're always posting and talking about your book. That's a really good way to get snoozed, or in some cases I've seen people be unfriended. So that's my advice. Go get your business page. It's not hard to do. There's no cost involved. You might as well. It's just a smart idea. All right. Yes. And Terry is confirming umbrella policy is so smart and it's inexpensive. I concur. All right. Vicki, if you're not getting our emails to your email but your phone, I'm not sure. That's a personal tech question. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure how you're set up, so I don't know why your emails or notifications for Free Advice Friday or anything else would go to one spot and not the other. Let me see. All right, we had a follow-up question. Why would my ebook show up twice on Amazon? How can I avoid that with my paperback? Possibility here. If your ebook is showing up twice on any platform, you're probably using two types of distribution that are crossing. So keep in mind when you upload your ebook to KDP, that your book is being uploaded with a ASIN, an Amazon standard identification number. Whew, got it. And so the Amazon standard identification number is what it codes to when you upload to KDP. You have to put in your ISBN if you really want it to track as well for your ebook. So if you then take your ebook for distribution and you go through Draft to Digital and you say, yes, go ahead and distribute my book to Amazon with my ISBN, or you upload to Ingram Spark for ebook distribution, and again, you're using your ISBN and you're saying, yeah, just, distribute it everywhere, they are automatically going to go to Amazon. And so that is how you can get double listings. So you need to find out where you have a double at, and then you need to ask them to remove one of those. Whether you go to Ingram Spark and ask them not to push the book out to Amazon, or you're going to Draft to Digital and checking your settings there, that's probably what has happened, is that you have set it up there. Now, if that's not the case, then what we're seeing is that you might have it in your KDP dashboard twice, something like that. For your paperback, because your paperback is tied to an ISBN, if you are using the same ISBN on every platform, which you should buy your own ISBNs from Bowker or from the agency in your country, or in some cases they're free, like in Canada. But you should be getting your ISBN. You should assign it to your paperback. that ISBN with that paperback should be uploaded everywhere. Same ISBN. So the same ISBN on KDP as on Ingram Spark. And if you do that, what will happen is if you upload your paperback to KDP, it will always take precedence over any other distribution. So if you upload your book to Ingram Spark, let's say with the same ISBN as KDP, KDP will be like, yep, my listing comes first, and it pushes Ingram Spark back. If you do not do that, if you only upload your book to Ingram Spark, or you're doing a pre-order through Ingram Spark with the same ISBN, it will populate over to Amazon. So there are checks and balances, but it only works if you're using the same ISBN and the same identification number across all your platforms. Excuse me. So that's what I would be looking at. Like an episode of like a nature episode over here. We've got geese going, rain. I've got some chipmunks out there. It's awesome. All right. Let me see. We had a question come in about LinkedIn. How do we use LinkedIn as authors? And that depends. That depends on you, and that depends on how you are using LinkedIn and what you're comfortable with, and also where your audience is at. So if you have a business book, let's say you have a business book on leadership, LinkedIn is a great spot for you to share informational tidbits, quotes from the book, blog articles, features. LinkedIn is your spot. Why? Because that's where business happens. So if you've got a business leadership book, it stands to reckon that it's probably going to be popular on LinkedIn. Now, if you have a fiction novel, LinkedIn may not be the spot to be sharing all of your memes and your quotes about your book and things like that. It's just not going to resonate as well. People are there for business, so if you are just posting book memes and things like that, it may not resonate as well. It may not get you very far. But what you can do with LinkedIn as a fiction author is you can still connect to people in the industry. You can still be posting your big wins, your awards, when your book launches. You can post to find editors. You can post to connect with people in the industry. Just know that it's more of an industry connection than not necessarily a reader connection. Does that mean that no one on LinkedIn reads fiction? Absolutely not. Come on, you guys. But it does mean that that's not where people are really like scrolling through looking for great books to read. That's more likely to happen on Facebook or even Instagram or Twitter. So know your audience, know your objective, and then use it accordingly. If you have a self-help book, you can absolutely connect to people on LinkedIn. You can even post, again, helpful tidbits and things like that, but keep the business mindset in mind when you're working with LinkedIn, because it's how it is. It's how the platform's set up, and that's what it's geared to. Yes, and anyone who didn't catch it on the New Shelves blog recently, our favorite guy to pick on, Randall McNair, was kind enough to write an article all about how he crowdfunded his first book, his poetry book, Dispatches from the Swinging Door Saloon. And so that, absolutely go check it out. If you haven't, newshelves.com/blog. We've had some great articles over on there. Yesterday we had a post that was all about 77 free sites for our sites for free images that you can use in blog posts and different things like that. So we've been having a lot of guest posts, and Randy did an awesome article that was all about how to crowdfund your book, which I know is kind of a hot topic because it's becoming more and more popular, but people are a little leery of it. Like, can I do this? Am I going to fail? What's that look like? And how do I do it successfully? So if you have been thinking about a crowdfunding option for your next book, then go check it out. It was awesome. Yeah, and so Randy's saying he did sell a couple of poetry books on LinkedIn to old coworkers and high school contacts. So absolutely, make your announcement there. Tell people you have a book there. It's just maybe not the spot to post your, your book memes and to spam it with that kind of stuff. So use some judgment and you will be awesome. Let's see. Do I need both title pages that I see in books, i.e. a page that just the title and another page with the title and the subtitle and the author name and the publisher name? You do not have to have it, but it looks very nice. So no, you don't have to have it. You can skip it and just have the full title page. You can have the half title page, but if you want to fall in line with traditional publishing, if you want your book to look beautiful, I highly recommend it. I literally, just out of arm's reach, I have a stack of books so I could show you. And so I am going to commit that terrible error of going off screen and getting that, and I will be right back. So hang on. It better be the first book that pops up. Nope, not so lucky, you guys. Maybe, look, it's not going to be any of these books. Oh, it couldn't be easy. That would be too easy. This is why we don't go rogue. Jump off screen. All right. Well, I can't find it, but that's okay because I have a book and I'll show you anyway. I'm back. Yeah, see how my plants, aren't they pretty? I'm propagating my Monstera, which I'm very excited about, as is my sister, because we swap plants. So we're those plant people. Like, I have over 50 plants in my house. It's a little ridiculous, but they make me so happy because they're green. Anyway, yes, I know. I don't have my stuff together, but sometimes, obviously I don't, as I ran off camera, but let's talk about our title page. This, my friends, is Busting the Brass Ceiling by Fanchon Blake in Lyndon Gross. It is a awesome memoir about discrimination for women police officers and how there was a big class action lawsuit. But anyway, title page. So we can see our title page here. This is pretty much what you must have. You absolutely must. Oftentimes you will see in very popular or traditionally published books a half page where it's just this top part on the page before. So you'd have a page with this, and then you'd flip, and then it's the whole thing. Do you have to do that? No, you do not have to. Does it look lovely? Yes. Is it what traditional publishers tend to do? Yes. So it's completely up to you. Yes, and usually the title page has the publisher's logo as well. So it depends on if you have a logo. If not, go on to Fiverr, go find a creative friend and support them and get a logo, because I think it's smart. So it's up to you, but it does look nice. It is standard in the publishing industry. Speaking of publisher's logo, can we also talk about naming your publishing company? My dear friends, if I see one more publisher come to me and tell me that they have a great name for their publishing company and it's Keri Barnum Enterprises, no. Because if you're trying to stand up in the traditional market, if you're trying to look, if you're trying to get noticed as a author with a well-published book that does not scream self-published, please do not do yourself this disservice. Go and go decide on a publishing company name that does not link to your name or your book or anything like that. Crooked Lane Press, beautiful. Keri Barnum Enterprises, not so much, unless I am publishing a business book that is all around my brand. That's when we do it. Otherwise, let's not do that to ourselves. It doesn't look awesome. Emerald Lake Books, beautiful. If Tara Alamany did Tara Alamany Rocks LLC, we would all know it was true, but would it look super professional? No, it would not. So let's keep that in mind when naming our publishing companies. And also, if you're taking the time to name your publishing company and you are planning to publish multiple books and do different projects, go out and get yourself a logo. Again, You have a creative friend who can do it for you? Awesome. Go to Fiverr, go to Canva for all I care, but create some type of logo and branding for your publishing company as well as yourself as an author. It's one of those small details that not many self-published authors think about. And it really is just that icing on the cake that makes you look that much more professional than the next guy, which gives you more of a chance of selling books, especially into bookstores and libraries. Will the average person buying it online notice? Probably not. Bookstores, libraries, museums, they will notice. And it's one of those small details that can just put you over the top. I also like Randy's bits of steak, which is favorite. Next to bacon, steak is my favorite. So yes, and you can always set an imprint once you've established for different books, which is totally true. You can have Emerald Lake Books, and then you can have an imprint that is Terra Rocks or something like that. You can have different imprints under your main publishing header, so keep that in mind as well. Let's see. I love that. Yes, and there are usually stories behind publishing names, and I love it as long as it doesn't connect with like your name or something. And people always say, well, what about the street I grew up on? That can't be great unless you're like me and grew up on a street called Buckhorn. Not so much then. So let's also keep in mind that not only does it need to be original, but it needs to sound nice. Should the publisher logo go both on the half title page and the title page? It's mostly seen on the half title page, could go on both. Depends on the design, honestly. Depends on the design of what you're doing, but more often we see it on the half title page. Oh, and some people do it on the full title page. Again, depends on your design, depends on what you are creating and what your design aesthetic is. Oh, matte or glossy? Yeah, it depends. Matte is definitely trending. Matte is more popular. I will say that sometimes you have to choose based on the actual book. This book, for instance, was made in glossy, and the reason why is this gold color. It actually looks like a gold bar. I know you can't probably see it. You can't see the actual graining, but it's got that kind of grainy look that looks like a gold bar. And so when we printed it in matte, it looked flat. It didn't look gold. And so it was printed in glossy, and it made a huge difference. There's some sense in there. Children's books are very often glossy because children have yucky fingers. Kids are... I have kids and I love kids, but kids are gross. Kids always have like stuff on their hands, whether it be dirt or food or whatever. So children's books are almost always glossy. If you are doing any type of business book, matte is very much in, with the caveat. If you are doing matte and white, and most of your book is white, you may get smudging. So keep that in mind. I would still say that matte and white is very popular, but if you're seeing a lot of smudges and it starts to look kind of not as clean and crisp as you want it, you may need to go glossy. And then glossy picture books, cookbooks, things that really have high imaging that you need to stand out, we see in glossy. But for most fiction books and also business books, we're seeing matte, and we have for a while now. Speaking of that, if we're looking at interior page color, for the most part, we are seeing white in nonfiction books, and we are seeing cream in fiction books. Of course, there are some exceptions, and then you have like the groundwood or groundwort, whatever it is, and all the different things. But for the most part, fiction we are seeing in the cream, and nonfiction in white. Let's see. I love when our questions just go off on tangents that lead to more questions and discussions. All right. It is true. Kids are gross. I love them, but they're gross. All right. Yes, memoirs often tend towards cream because they're not fiction, but they're storytelling. So that's a little bit different. I agree there. All right. Let me see. Randy's book finally hit #1 in one of its Amazon categories. Yay! But it doesn't show the #1 bestseller banner. Does it need to be #1 in all categories or be #1 for a certain amount of time first? Let us talk about this. So the #1 banner, the coveted orange Amazon banner, I don't know where, just recently, I do not know where this has been coming from. I don't know who has been saying it, but let's talk about it. The orange banner, when it shows up, how it shows up, does it stay forever? First off, the #1 bestseller orange banner that we all know and love is calculated hourly. It's by the category. So if you're in a certain category and you're #1, you only have to hit it in one category and it will say #1 bestseller in Irish poetry. Or #1 bestseller in romantic comedy, whatever it is. It is calculated by the hour. So it'll stay for an hour. Grab your screenshots while you can because then it will go off. It does not stay on there forever. I had like 3 or 4 people, I don't know if someone did a webinar or what, but I had 3 or 4 people in the same week come to me and say, I earned that #1 bestseller banner and where is it? Because it's not on my listing anymore. And I had to break the sad news that it's hourly. It does not stay up there. I hope you grabbed a screenshot because then it goes away. Another misconception is that if you hit #1 in category while your book is free, you do hit #1 in category. If you click over to the category, it will even, like when it has the bestseller list, grab a screenshot of that because it will show Amazon bestseller in whatever, and then it'll have the list of books and it'll have the orange hashtag #1 on there, so you can absolutely grab that. You do not get the orange banner on your page, on your Amazon sales page for a free listing. Here's why, because that banner says #1 bestseller. And if it's free, it's not selling. So it's not a bestseller, it's #1 free Kindle book. And that is why sometimes we don't see the banner there. You can absolutely go on. And actually it's a day to go rogue, right? So I might as well just go over to Amazon and show you exactly what I mean live. Let me see. All right, give me 2 seconds here. Let's go live. All right. So this book, The Big Tilt by Dan Flanagan, has actually made it #1 bestseller in several categories. But the banner's not there right now. Why? Because it's not currently #1 bestseller. You can see here, these guys, how awesome are they? #1 bestseller in suspense. Way to go, Mike. And so that banner shows up. This hour, it will calculate again. And so when we look at it currently, look, I'm on books and not Kindle. Paperback books are not selling as well as Kindle at the moment. So let's look here. So obviously still, he's still ranking in the top 128,000 on Kindle, which is doing pretty well. That means that they're getting regular sales, but not currently a #1 bestseller. Excuse me. Let's take a look at financial thrillers. So right here, we can see this is our bestsellers, top 100 paid. These guys, if I click on them, will all have #1 bestseller banner. It's beautiful. I hope that James has taken a screenshot or someone on his team has, or maybe he's just so awesome they don't have to do that anymore. But if we go back to the #2 spot, while awesome, well, he's #1 in something else. Way to go, Sheldon. But you're too awesome for us. We need someone who's not quite there. Man, Sheldon's taking up this category. Way to go, buddy. All right, here we go. So while he's like 6 in the category and super awesome, he's not #1 in any category, so he does not have that orange banner. #5 in financial thrillers, also 6 in financial thrillers. He's 15 in pulp thrillers, doing awesome. but not number 1, so he doesn't get the banner. So that is the different ways. But what you can do, because hey, number 5 is still pretty awesome, number 3, whatever it is, you can still take a screenshot here where it says Amazon bestsellers, bestsellers and financial thrillers, and you can take your screenshot here that shows you're at number 1, 2, or 3. Let's look at the top 100 free categories. Now, when we're over here on the free categories, you can see, again, number 1, you can absolutely take a screenshot of this where it says top 100 free, but when we click on this, there is no orange banner because it's not a seller. It is, it's topping the list, it's number 1, but it's in a free section, so you don't get that orange banner on your sale page. And so that has caused a lot of confusion. You're still technically making a bestseller list. You're still number 1. You can still, you know, grab a screenshot here and brag about it. You do not get the bestseller banner. And again, it calculates hourly, so you can lose your spot in as little as an hour. Keep that in mind as you're going forward and as you're trying to attain certain status and things like that. It's just important to know that it changes. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. So now you know where to take your screenshots when you get there, because I think you all can. I think you all can do it. I know that you, if you're on this call, you're here a lot, you've got the tools in your belt. Most of you have wonderful books already out, and you have the ability to obtain bestseller status on Amazon and to rank high there. As well as if you're doing it and you're not in Kindle Unlimited, check the Barnes & Noble bestseller lists. It always surprises me when authors, even really well-known authors from big publishers, are like, oh, well, we checked Amazon. I'm like, did you grab a screenshot of your bestseller on Barnes & Noble? And they're like, oh, no. And I'm like, well, that's awesome too, so let's go do that. So let's see. Let's see. Swinging door saloon. I'm going to look you up, Randy, because you are. All right. Sorry, you guys. I'm just going to look this up. I'm going to assume you mean maybe make it a double. So you're on your newer book. Let's look it over. Huh. That is a fluke. So I'm going to share this because I think it's super interesting. Screen share. All right. So this is Randy's book, Make It a Double. It's his second poetry book. And so when we go here, there is no orange banner. But when we go down here, you absolutely are number 1 in the category. I don't know why it does not have an orange banner. I've never seen that for a paid book. I've only ever seen that for a free book. I'm wondering if it's kind of, I wonder if it's kind of an anomaly. So let's click on that. You know what I'd do? I'd grab a screenshot here, but I think it is so strange. Again, I've never seen that where they don't do that. I wonder if the other areas, let's check this guy. Does he have a banner? He's got a banner. I don't know. I might actually, if I were you, Randy, I might actually contact KDP and ask them, just like hey, are there certain categories that don't have a bestseller banner? But I would absolutely, in the meantime, grab your screenshot from this page here because you are number 1. So super awesome. Super weird, but super awesome. All right. How would you know when your book might have the banner? Usually, unless you have super robust marketing and you're awesome, which you all are, but usually you're not number one all the time. It usually coincides with some big marketing, promotion, advertising, and the only way to really know is to check. There are different softwares that are supposed to capture when your book hits number one that you can look into, but the best way is to know your marketing, know what's going on, and to check it. When I do promotions with clients, like if we get a book bub, if we are doing a big ebook promotion, anything like that, not only are they checking constantly by the hour, but I am checking constantly by the hour. My husband always laughs because it's like 11:30 at night. And I'm like, I just have to check one more time because that screenshot only lasts for an hour. I'm a little ridiculous, but when we work together, we're a team and it excites me as much as you. So you really just kind of have to watch it and know to watch for it. And if you're doing a big promotion, be on standby. And like I said, it changes hourly. So you kind of want to check it hourly. Let's see. Yeah, Jane made it to number 16 for Christmas Kindle. That's awesome, Jane. Let's see. Yeah. I love that. That's kind of the look of today is like, yay, but weird. I don't know why it's doing that, Randy. Ask them. Grab a screenshot. All right, let's see what else we got today. All right. Oh, can I explain Google Analytics? Would this connect to your website, for example? What would this analytics be used for? Yes. I know just enough about Google Analytics to be dangerous, but this is my understanding. Again, if you talk to a professional who's like, she's crazy, she has no clue what she's talking about, trust them, not me. But we do use Google Analytics for the New Shelves website. What it is you go into Google. Google has this cool connection where you can connect into your website, and they basically track your traffic, and they track your traffic, especially coming from Google and how it comes through. They have a lot of reports and things. I was actually looking at New Shelves yesterday. So they have reports that show you your increase of traffic, and they have reports that show you how many users came within a 7-day period, a 28-day period, or a 90-day period, how many sessions, the bounce rate, how long they were on your website. They track conversion of how long people are coming. They can tell you what time of day is most popular for people to come visit your website. Are they on a desktop, a mobile, a tablet? Where are they from? United States, Canada, United Kingdom. All of that is tracked, and they show it to you, and it connects into most websites, I believe. And if you're not using it for your website, I highly recommend you do. It's an awesome tool, and I really enjoy stalking the numbers. Websites, the analytics for a website for me is a little bit like you looking at your book ranking, because I'm like, wow, people like us today. And sometimes not so much, but take it as you can get. So that's what I know about it. Highly recommend. You do need a Gmail or a Google account, and then you just hook it right in. The steps for walking you through are pretty easy. Let's see. All right, let me see. Do you need a blank page in the back of the book? It is very standard to have a blank page in the back of your book for both printing and just spacing. So typically, yes. For printing, you will want a page in the back of the book. This page also, since I'm still holding this book, this page also is lovely for being able to, if you're doing book signings or inscriptions, you can write in it right there. So that way it's not in the front. So you can certainly, there's always stuff in the front. But it is super nice to have a blank page in the back, and it is pretty standard. So I do recommend. Yeah, and they're usually added by the printer. It's actually based on when they're added by the printer, there's caveat there. Are they added by the printer? Yes, but when they're added by a printer, it's because of the number of pages you have. I believe it's divisible by 4. So if your book page number is not divisible by 4, then they may add pages at the back or the front matter for printing. Yes, and Ingram prints the barcode on that page, so they always add it. So it just depends on what you're using it for. Yep. Yes, depends on the equipment, but Ingram Spark and KDP, I believe, are both, their standard for most of them are divisible by 4, even though it tells you you have to have a book divisible by 2 in order to upload it. Their actual printing status is 4. So long story short, yes, you usually do end up with a page in the back of the book. But the printer often will add it. If you're doing offset print run or something like that, it's a little bit different, but yes. Let's see. I signed up for both KDP and Ingram Spark. Why did my ebook show up twice? We did cover this in the beginning. So if you didn't catch that whole thing, you can watch the YouTube replay, which goes up on Monday. You just go to youtube.com/newshelvesbooks, and we will put the replay up on Monday of today. But in short, you have probably overlapped distribution for your ebook, and you would most likely want to go back to Ingram Spark and ask them not to distribute your ebook to Amazon. Let's see. If my book is on KDP and Ingram Spark and Draft to Digital, how does someone order my print book from Barnes & Noble? If your book is through Ingram Spark, if your print book is set up through Ingram Spark and you've got distribution enabled, then what's happening is that Ingram Spark is pushing out to the Barnes & Noble website. Barnes & Noble is then selling your book at the trade discount or whatever discount you have set to customers online. And so it comes from Ingram Spark. If you're looking to track your print sales, that sale would show up in Ingram Spark. You do not know where those sales come from. It does not say 5 sales from Barnes & Noble, 10 from libraries, and 12 from bookstores. It doesn't do that. It just gives you a blanket statement of how many books were sold, but it could be from bookstores, including Ingram Spark. It could be IndieBound. It could be bookshop.org. It could be coming from any of those, but it's all facilitated by Ingram Spark, which then pushes your book out to Ingram Wholesale, which pushes it out to bookstores. Let's see. How do you take a screenshot? There are many ways to take a screenshot depending on your computer. A Mac is different from a PC, and I'm afraid I don't have a Mac, so I'm useless there. If you are using a PC, you can do the control button and the print screen button, and that will screenshot it. And then you can paste that over into a Word document or something along those lines. I personally use software called Snagit to grab my screenshots because I do a lot of those working with clients. If you have a cell phone, I know that's like standard now, but you can always look it up on your cell phone and then take a screenshot. If you're using an Apple phone, then you push down this middle home button and the side button here. If you're using a Samsung, I'm sorry, I can't help you. It's like, you know, I've got the Apple for my phone, and so I know that, and then I've got PC for my computer, and I don't cross over. On a Mac, just hit Shift-Command 3. Linda to the rescue. You're awesome, Linda. Thank you. So you can take it that way. You can take a video of it. I use Loom. Loom is a software that you can use for free to take short videos. So you can take a video of that. So many different options of ways to capture it. What I do not recommend, you can if you are desperate. I do not recommend that you do one of these, where you're taking a picture of your screen with your phone. It doesn't show up very well. It doesn't transfer very well. And so if that's the only thing you can do, okay, but it's not recommended. I would try some of the other options first. Let's see. Yeah, and apparently on a Mac, you can also hold down Shift Command 5 and you can choose which kind of photo you want and click. Macs have all these options. Let's see. All right, you guys. Yes, so if your book is on Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited, you cannot use Draft to Digital or Ingram Spark for your ebook distribution. That does also mean that your book will not get into overdrive for libraries. I get that question a lot. And actually, it was an article we shared on our social media recently for New Shelves, was that if your book is in Kindle Select and Kindle Unlimited, your ebook is not available to libraries. Here's why. Kindle Unlimited is exclusive to Amazon. They do not allow for you to put your book up on overdrive for libraries. So if you're marketing hard to libraries and you're trying to market an ebook, just know that your book really can't be in Kindle Select to make that happen, because they are looking for access through overdrive or through Baker and Taylor ebooks, which we generally use Draft to Digital to distribute to those platforms. It's kind of a trade-off. If your book is very marketable on Kindle Unlimited, you may be saying, hey, I'm going to take the money from the everyday readers and do it that way, and libraries I'll just pitch my paperback to. But if Kindle Unlimited isn't really moving for you and you want to try libraries because you feel like your book would really do well there, let's say you have a self-help book that is all about recovering from shoulder injuries. If you've got a book all about recovering from shoulder injuries and it's just not doing much on Kindle Unlimited because, hey, not everyone's looking for that every day, you may take it off of there and say, I'm going to pitch to libraries. That's the kind of thing libraries would keep. So it kind of just depends. Jane, your book is not available at Barnes & Noble. Your ebook is not available for Barnes & Noble because it is in Kindle Unlimited. And again, Kindle Unlimited is exclusive, and so Barnes & Noble cannot carry it. They can't, because it's not, that would not make it exclusive. They can, of course, carry your paperback. When you go exclusive for your ebook on Kindle Unlimited, this does not affect your paperback. Your paperback can still be on every platform. You can go to Ingram Spark and upload for Barnes & Noble and IndieBound and bookshop.org, as well as do KDP for your paperback. The Kindle Unlimited and Kindle Select terms are completely separate from your paperback terms. Let's see. All right, you guys. Well, we had some lively discussions, but I think we got through all the questions. So if you have any more questions, drop them in the Q&A box. We've got a couple more minutes. But if not, then we will hang out. Let's see. I think we got that question. I love the last call. It's literally just like a last call at a bar where you're like, all right, we're about to go, and everyone rushes up, and it's awesome and hilarious. I'm publishing book 3 in the Bar Poem series later this year, and it will be a 2020 Writer's Digest Award winner. Can I put that medallion on the cover? You would have to, I'm guessing that you mean that inside the book of poems, one of the poems won a 2020 Writer's Digest Award. If that is true, and I am understanding correctly, you would have to go to Writer's Digest and you would have to see what the terms of using their medallion in their marketing is. Putting the award on your book cover would generally symbolize that the entire book was an award winner. So my gut tells me you're going to have problems there. But again, you have to go back and say, you know, maybe go check their terms. What you can do is put on the book somewhere, like your headline or down at the bottom, includes title of the poem, a 2020 Writer's Digest winner, or something like that. So you can kind of call out that poem or that piece right on the cover and talk about that. Just slapping the medallion on the cover at whole would probably get you into some hot water. All right. Yesterday, I finally uploaded my children's picture book to Amazon and Ingram. It will be available in May. Aw, Pat, congratulations. I know you've been working on that for a long time. I love that. So we have Randy, who's made it to #1. Way to go. Pat's got her book coming up. Jane made it to number 16. She really ranked high in a hard category. I love it, you guys. I love that you guys share your successes with us here. It's awesome to be able to cheer you on. So if anyone else, whenever you have successes, let us know. It makes me so happy. It's a great way to start the weekend. Let's see. And let me just double check on Facebook. Make sure we've got some stuff coming up here. Make sure no one has asked any questions that I have been ignored. I always forget Facebook. I just get stuck on our Zoom call. And if anyone's watching on Facebook and you would like to join our live Zoom call so you can chat with us real time, just go to newshelves.com/FAF. That is how you sign up for the free Zoom call. You'll get reminders, and that way you can join us live. You can chat. You can you can be here for me to heckle and also love on. So, all right. If my ebook is on Draft to Digital and KDP and Ingram Spark, how do I do bulk ebook sales to companies? That really depends. If you're trying to do bulk ebook sales, I have seen people do it where they have a discount on a specific day and tell the company, hey, you can all go grab that book on that day. Amazon, I'm not sure about the other platforms, but Amazon also allows you to do gift copies. So they could buy that, you could drop the price down, have gift copies, and then they get codes that they could give out to their employees. Or you could do a direct download where you're using something like BookFunnel, where they are paying a set amount for the book, and then you set up a download page specifically for them so their employees can go and download the book. It really depends on the company you're working with, what you're willing to set up, and how they are hoping to distribute your ebook. Yeah, David, number 91 in public art. I bet that's a big category too. Yeah, that's top 100 bestsellers. That's awesome. Let's see. Do you recommend recording an audiobook due to current trends in ROI? Yes, 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 yes. Audiobooks are huge, and audiobooks are growing. They are expected and trending to grow for the next, what were those stats? I looked at them not too long ago. Audiobooks are trending, and they're expected to really grow within the next 5 to 10 years. People are enjoying audiobooks more and more. The market is still pretty fresh, so there's not tons and tons of competition, and I highly recommend that you do. If you've got a fiction book, find a great audio narrator. I mean, if you read awesomely, great. If you don't, acknowledge that for yourself and find someone who is awesome. ACX and Findaway Voices both have platforms where you can kind of find a narrator. If you have a nonfiction self-help book or something along those lines, something that's personal, consider narrating yourself. Again, you have to be honest with yourself if you're able to read. It will take some practice. I highly recommend Derek Dopeker's program for creating your own audiobook. He really walks you through it, and he's great. I do have a link for that I can find and post for anyone who is interested in his program, which again is great for creating your own audiobook. But it depends on what you're doing. Audio is trending for mysteries, for romance, for business, and self-help nonfiction. So those are the big ones that I would say absolutely. All right, I'm gonna click on this here. If you go to newshelves.com/audio, you will find a training by Derek and the link to his program. So you can absolutely do that. So some things don't lend themselves to audio. Obviously, children's picture books are not awesome. Anything text heavy doesn't really work. But audiobooks are huge, and we're finding that more and more people are trying to market those. has actually been a struggle working with authors who are trying to market their audiobooks because the platform it's trending so quickly that the marketing platforms haven't quite caught up. But now we have Chirp, which is owned by BookBub, and it's basically BookBub for audiobooks. Also keep in mind that if you have an audiobook, there are now audiobook tours, like a blog tour that we do for our new ebook or paperback. They now do them for audiobooks as well. There's a popular review site called Audiophile Magazine, so go there. If you are running ads, if you have properly linked all of your sale formats on Amazon. So if you've got your ebook, your paperback, and your audio all linked properly on Amazon, they show on the same sales page. So if you're running any type of Amazon ads, they are leading to your sales page, which means that people may also be driven to your audiobook. Throw in some audiobook keywords in there for your ads as well. And I do think that if you've got the time, the means, and if you're in one of those popular categories, it's a really smart move. And I've seen some people make some great sales. I've actually seen a couple of self-help books where most of their sales turned out to be audiobooks. And business books for sure. I think business executives and things like that, most of them that I know are so busy, they want to get the information, they want to read, but they tend towards podcasts and audiobooks because that's what they have time for. As much as I work in the book industry, I read books that I work with, but reading for pleasure is a rare treat because I don't usually have the time, but I listen to audiobooks all the time. And of course, in our go, go, go society, people are listening to audiobooks in the car or on the train, whatever it may be. Yeah, Wendy says she sold almost 1,000 audiobooks in 3 years, which is awesome. I mean, and think if you didn't have that platform, that might have been 100 or 1,000 people who just didn't ever read your book. Yeah, I get really positive comments from readers about the audio. I'd like to promote them more. Absolutely. And so if you've got your audio, keep in mind, anytime you send someone to your Amazon sales page, they have the chance for audio. Sometimes you just have to call it out. You have to add more audible keywords into your sales, or if you're doing Facebook ads, make sure that you have a graphic that clearly calls out the audio and say, go grab it. I think we forget to market it sometimes. Let me see. I am putting together a one sheet or a sales sheet for bookstores. Should I also include my phone number as well as websites? That is completely up to you. If you don't mind people calling you, absolutely. Just know that unless you have a special number like a Google number or a Skype number, you kind of have to be on all the time when you answer your phone. And your voicemail recording needs to reflect that it may be a bookstore or a library. So you don't want to, be yelling at your kids in the background or something like that saying leave a message. So absolutely up to you. And I do recommend that if you do not have a phone number, and regardless really, have an email. Email is how a lot of people like to get in touch nowadays, so have an email available for sure in addition to your website. Please never ask a book buyer to go to your website and use the contact us page. Give them a direct line to you, whether it be phone, email, or both. Let's see. It looks like Amazon took down the ability to advertise Kindle books. Not to my knowledge, Randy. I've got a couple of ads running for Kindle books right now. So I don't know what's going on in your platform. It may be certain times that they will make a book ineligible if they're discounting it. And when you're running ads, they're not actually making a profit. They will sometimes make your book ineligible or a certain book ineligible. But Amazon ads in general, Kindle's still up and at 'em. I checked about 5 accounts this morning, so. How do you do an email signature? It depends on what you're using, whether you're using Gmail or Outlook or whatever it is. Usually if you go to the help button, you do signature, you can find one. Keep in mind your signature block should have your information, should be short and sweet. If you are going to link to your book on Amazon or bookshop.org or something like that, please, please, please link some text. Do not have a URL that's like, 2 inches thick. And please know that if you're using an Amazon specifically, let's actually go to Amazon. Pet peeve of mine here. All right. If you are on Amazon and you are trying to get the URL for your book, I know it is so very tempting to say, oh, copy, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to give people this whole long thing. Please don't do that. That has all the tags for different searches and things like that. You do not need them. You don't need anything from this REF on. So you can actually get rid of that entire thing and you will come to the same page. So then you've got a shortened URL. Use that, or you can even make it smaller. You can get rid of all this information between the Amazon.com and the DP. Get rid of that. And still the same page. Now you have a link that is at least a quarter of the original length than the original. So if you're going to use an Amazon link, please always think to shorten it as much as possible, which is about here. All right. Yeah. All right. Let me see. It seems to me that the book I'm working on crosses over a few nonfiction genres. How do I decide which one is when I begin to go fishing for an agent? When you are doing it, does one genre stick over the other? And most importantly, who will be reading your book? Is it people who typically enjoy fantasy? Is it people who typically enjoy memoirs? Is it people who typically enjoy romance? Make sure that you are pulling forward who your reader is to identify your genre and your target. But also, again, be honest, does one really stick over the other? It's great to say that you cross genres, but especially when fishing for an agent, you need to lead with what your book really encompasses. So maybe you do have a romance, but it's a space opera. It's definitely a sci-fi space opera. And yeah, it's romance too, but at its core, it's sci-fi. So make sure that you pick that out and push hard on that. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, and Keri's saying there's also for Amazon, there's also a site called booklinker.net, which is a universal Amazon link taking visitors to their local Amazon marketplace. So not just .com, but if they're at the Australia website, UK, Canada, it will take them to whatever their local one is. That's awesome. So booklinker.com. All right, let me just make sure we got all our questions answered. I love this, Denise. What do you get when you mix alcohol and literature? Tequila Mockingbird, which is actually a fun book that is like a literary mixologist book. Tequila Mockingbird. Go figure, and that's hilarious. I love it. I'm queen of like the corny jokes or the dad jokes. I love them. They make me happy. All right, you guys, I think we got everything covered today. We will be back next week. If you haven't recently checked out the blog, go do that, newshelves.com/blog. We've got a lot of great blogs going up and new ones all the time. We've started posting pretty regularly on Mondays and Thursdays for the blog. The replay of our Free Advice Friday will go up on YouTube on Monday, which is youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button and you will not only get notifications for Free Advice Friday replays, but we also do how-to videos and other fun stuff as well. Thank you for joining me, and we will be back next week at 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye.